Yo, what's up guys? Belligerent here with another Bloodline video. And in today's video, we're giving somebody a little bit of account help. Somebody approached me on stream last night and asked me for help. They have a pretty strong team, but they're struggling in some fights and they just want some overall kind of general account information. So let's hop in here, take a look at their account, see what we're dealing with here. Okay. So I see right here on the leaderboard they are #1, so we definitely have plenty of might. So this is the account we're working with. Okay. So let's just hop in here to the arena, because like we're gonna try to give some general overall advice, see where we can make some changes, some tweaks, changes to traits, stuff like that, just general account information. But kind of the one benchmark that was mentioned to me was they were struggling to beat somebody here in the arena who they have higher combat power than, but it's not going so well. So let's take a look at this replay. You can see 310 versus 284 there on the combat power. Okay, so it looks like they're going up against a Bulko, which is probably a big part of the problem. I'll just kind of watch this play through here and see the team. We have Bloodstorm, M-Ask, M-SK, Akuna, and Male Water and Sun. And it did not go so hot for us. So if we look at the sprites, yep, here we have a Bulko. Here we do not. Okay. So there's at least a start. Probably need to get a Bulko to help out with that. I don't know if there's any way for her to get a Bulko right now. Maybe this event. Yeah, it's in here. Let's take a look at the sprites that she does have, because maybe these are all of the basic sprites, so maybe these aren't the best choices here. Okay, we have the epics. Wait a minute, we actually have a Bulko and not using it, so that could help a lot if we just make that swap. Which one of these do I want to sub out? I think he's damage, right? Damage. Constitution, that's defense. When an enemy champion casts an ultimate skill, all allied champions have 50% chances. So I think we swapped this one out. I'm not a fan of this skill. When an enemy champion casts an ultimate skill, so it's not happening all the time, it's only happening when the ultimates go off, and in your typical fight, that's probably what, 2 or 3 times during a fight. All allied champions have a coin flip, right? It's not a 100% chance, it's only a 50% chance to restore only 10% of their constitution. That seems really weak. What do these other ones do? All allied champions, active skills and ultimate skills deal 16% more damage. That feels like it might be a little bit. What is the other horse? When attacking an enemy, 20%. This is 16% on active and ultimates. I honestly kind of like that horse better. What is this one here? Each time an allied champion takes ultimate skill damage, their strength resistance is increased for 3 seconds. Again, ultimate in only 3 seconds. An allied champion in the front row takes 13% less damage, and all allied champions in the back row deal 13% more damage for the first 15 seconds. I feel like this would be a good one to put in too. So let's make a couple of sprite changes here. We're going to swap this one out for that, and we're going to swap that one out for this. Alright, so let's take that back and try this, just that simple swap in the arena. See if we can beat him now. Okay. At least with both sides having Bulko, now everybody's ultimate's going off at the same time instead of them getting an advantage. We still got deleted though very quickly. Maybe the bear was a bad one to take out. He seemed really squishy in that. So let's take him out. Put him in. Oh, I also wanted to put the better horse in. I love that horse is better. Alright. But let me see what level she has them at. That might be stats that we're losing. Maybe that's why. 246 and oh, okay, that yeah. All right, those aren't gonna work because we need to level those up. I think these would probably be the better sprites to have, but since they're not leveled up, I'll keep him in. We are still gonna run the Bulko though, because I think that one is more about the ability than the stats. We'll see how that goes. If we can find our target again. Alright, so making the switch did drop us a little in the combat power, but I think the ability is more important than that. And there you go. You see, it's a big change now. We got the heals off from Mail, Water, and Sun. And the Bulko put us on even ground. There's the final execute. So you see big change because of those sprite adjustments. So that's really all we need. Account fix, right? Let's go through, see if we can't optimize it a little bit more. Let's look through our champions, see what we have to work with. Looks like we have all of the Bloodcraft champions. Okay. She has a female. So these two work together really well. Like this combination, it's like double heals, but her CC works in unison with his skill there. So we might try swapping out Bloodstorm for that. So one thing I noticed on your account, one thing I noticed on this account is there's a lot of vigor spread out across a whole bunch of different champions, and maybe that happened kind of naturally as you were testing them out, figuring out who you wanted to use, or maybe you're just trying to keep everything on even playing ground. I personally would prefer to put all the vigor onto one champion. Now obviously that's hard, those crystals suck. They're too difficult to get to actually make swapping vigor realistic. But at least we can rechange focus. And so here's the thing to keep in mind. Hitting a vigor level of 120, which is max, takes roughly about 3,000 marriages. Okay. It's going to vary based on the class and what you're using, but right around 3,000 marriages. Okay. When you hit 90, that's about 1,300 marriages. So less than half. So being at 90 vigor sounds good, but it's less than half of the vigor potential. So while we probably don't want to marry these together to combine this because it's a bunch of 15 stars and that's a lot of resources to waste, we probably do want to refocus how we're distributing vigor. And so if we take a look here at her main rosters, and like I said, I think we're going to do this. We'll test it out, but I think this is where I'm leaning. I think I would probably start putting all my vigor into male Soulkeeper. And the reason I say that is twofold. Male Water and Sun, obviously the overpowered champion. He's kind of our carry at the moment. But they just came out with this new sprite. It's actually coming out. I think it reset today. This is like a direct counter to Water and Sun. And I'm not exactly sure where Water and Sun is going to fall in the meta after this sprite gets introduced. So I'd be hesitant to start putting Vigor on Water and Sun. But the other reason I think buffing him up all the way is the way to go is because if we look at his ultimate, this is really why we play this guy, right? Is because he can just execute people. It's based on his strength. The caster instantly teleports behind enemy units whose current constitution is lower than a percentage of the caster's strength. So this says 950% of the caster's strength. So the higher you get the strength on this champion, the higher health they can have where he will actually execute them. So if we focus all of our vigor on him until we get to 120, that makes him seriously dangerous. So that's what I would do with the vigor there. But let's take this, what we have after looking through those champions. Let's throw together this new comp. Now, we remember our old comp just beat him, so it's a little bit, hard to judge if it actually seems better. Well, we're going to take her out. We're going to put her in. Okay. And see how this goes. I did notice a few of our champions got really low health, and there was a brief moment there where I didn't know if the healing from Water and Sun was going to pop off in time. So let's go through and give this a shot. And you see with the extra heal, we are staying much healthier. Water and Sun continues to get his ultimate off. I think the only thing stopping him, because he channels and with the crowd control, he should be getting refilled, but I think it's there. Oh, we lost the wolf. We still haven't got to their Water and Sun, which is interesting. There's the execute. Come out there. And they just have a very tanky Bloodstorm. And here should come the execute. So the Soul Keeper's ready. There we go. Okay. So that one felt a little more wishy-washy than the first time through. I actually got a lot of damage out of that one. Okay, and now if we look at this one, it mostly relied on Soul Keeper in that. So I think they're both valid comps. I didn't exactly see. I'm gonna watch that through again. See if I can actually see what or when the wolf gets taken out. Because it felt very sudden. And with all the zooming, it's very difficult to see. Oh, it looks like he was the victim of Phoenix's execute, which would explain why it was very sudden, and I thought he was okay. All right. So I wonder, let's try it one more time through, just to see how this plays out. And you see, we're staying, this time it feels like we're staying way healthier than we did last match. So I think there was just some RNG that kind of went along with what happened to us last time as far as losing our wolf. But that entire match never felt like we were in danger of losing anybody. So I do prefer that comp. I think you can use either one of those that you want. If you want a little bit more damage, you can put that Bloodstorm in, but I feel like the one that we have there is a little bit more stable. Okay. Let's take a look at the traits. See what we're running as far as traits are concerned. And also equipment. So what do we got here? We have runes, 5% strength. We have triggered because we have 4 there, 1 there. He's also triggering the life. So an extra 10% constitution.
Luckily for you, my sting is better than my flight.
I'm a big fan of dodge. I'm not a big fan of why the dodge set doesn't increase your dodge.
My sting is better than my flight.
So I do wonder.
Luckily for you,
Let's go take a look in the bag here. She does have a couple of purple and orange, but not enough to really do anything. Okay. So I want to take a look at the traits that we're running. So we're running Rapid Shot on Male, Water, and Sun, which to me doesn't feel like the right place. This is a group attack, so just like this should be on a support player, so you can put more damage on your damage dealers. So you could swap this out for maybe something like Fierce. Hexproof. At least now we can see when Hexproof is going off, right? 20% chance is pretty solid. I personally, and I haven't tested this, but I personally am more of a fan of the idea of Pure Heart. Let's see if I can look in here. Pure Heart, 20% chance to remove all debuff effects. I would put my 20% into Pure Heart rather than Silence, because that helps counter Bulko. You can cleanse that ultimate, and if you get lucky and you proc that 20%, you can cleanse the Bulko effect off of you and get your ultimate out earlier. If you want to keep the Hexproof, you can. You could remove Rapid Shot and put on Pure Heart. I personally would probably opt for more damage, so I'd probably remove Rapid Shot, put on, you know, maybe like a Fierce, something like that, and replace Hexproof for Pure Heart. Okay.
Tread lightly on the forest bounty.
Same thing here. I'm going all... So I'm not going to keep repeating this, but I would swap out Hexproof for Pure Heart. Energetic, Brutal, Loyal. Fortitude doesn't feel all that great in this game. You're getting 5 million Fortitude. It's not the worst thing that could be here. I don't necessarily usually opt for a Fortitude, but if you like the tankiness, especially on like a tank, I'm looking at a tank, this is probably fine. Let me look at this. I'm trying to think here. Let's go back. I'm gonna go back and look at our stats in Arena. Okay, so Male Ask is doing the majority of our damage, followed by Water and Sun. Akuna is doing the least amount of damage. But I think his utility is where it's at with him, aka the freeze. Let's test that. How important is his freeze? And Mr. Rank here, hopefully she'll let you know that this is not personal. You're just the person that she wanted to beat, so that's why we're trying to figure out how to beat you. I don't know who to put in. I'm curious. I'm going to try Spider. That's a lot of melee. But I've heard decent things about him. Let's just try it, see what happens when we put him in. I want to try a couple of different variations here, just to kind of see how well Akuna works, or how much Akuna is needed. Holy cow. Was it just me, or was that crazy fast compared to what we normally get? 44 seconds. I don't know what this is. It was not a 7-minute fight. Let me see here. Let's see. Alright. I want to keep an eye on the time here. In full disclosure, I have no experience with Male Spider. I have just been told he's a good support. I don't even know really what he does. So that's why I'm just experimenting. I haven't had a chance to play with him. I don't have him yet. But it feels like putting him in instead of Akuna completely changed. Like, we just kind of walked through this. And done. So 120 something. So yeah, it was about 44 seconds. Now the times are getting all weird. Was this how long ago the fight happened? Alright. So let's see where this ends up, how long this takes us with Akuna in there. So right now, like, I'm just going through a process of trying to fine-tune this comp, see if there aren't some better combinations. Like, obviously we got it to a point where we achieved what our goal is. Like, we made it much more efficient by using Volko and putting in female Galabar. Now I'm experimenting a little bit because I do not have experience with all of these champions, so seeing if maybe we can find something different. It's weird, it took about the same amount of time here. Almost exactly the same amount of time. So for some reason, male spider felt really fast. I know you guys are probably going, stop watching the same thing over and over again, but I'm trying to understand like why it felt so much faster. You know what it is that nobody is moving. Except for her. Like, the other team literally did not move the entire match. The only movement outside of Bloodstorm was this last movement where they moved from back here to down here, but that was just because Male Ask pushed them with his charge. That felt so much easier with the spider in there. What does spider do? Okay, everybody gets to watch Belligerent learn stuff right now. What does spider do? Spins the spider web at the current location that deals total damage equal to 607% of the caster's strength to all enemies within range for 5 seconds. Does that happen where he's standing or where he's targeting? That I'm not sure. And restores so it's more heal to allies within range. If the caster is already on a spider web, when the skill casts, the spider web will cast on a random enemy. Okay. That's a lot of healing. Resets all the spider web's binding effects, trigger cooldown, and binds enemy on spider webs, dealing total damage equal to 600 of the caster's strength. Meanwhile, all units on a spider web gain different effects. Allies get attack speed and damage dealt. Enemies get attack slow and damage reduced. Binds enemies on the spider web every 6 seconds, immobilizing them for 1.5 seconds for the cast. Okay. So that makes sense why it's working so well together. But I want to see where does he cast this web? I can't even see the web that he supposedly... Is this the web, the white stuff that's holding them? So maybe... Oh, okay, there it is. I see the circle around them. I actually like that. Okay. Let's try one more thing here. Because we get healing from that, I'm just curious, what if we put her back in for more damage? What happens? Everybody dies, that's what happens. There needs to be an eject button. Yeah, that was a bad substitution. That substitution didn't work at all. Take her out, put her back in. And we're actually lower combat power than him now. So we've gone in kind of complete reverse here. Where it started out, we were stronger but couldn't win. And now it appears we're lower and are dominant. So again, and I've said this throughout my videos the whole entire time I've made videos about this game. Comp over color, right? Your comp, your synergy is more important than how strong you are, what rarity a champion is, all of that stuff. Okay, so this one was a little bit more spread out than the first one we did. We're still fine. Why is female Galabar still alive? What is this weirdness? And there's the execute. Okay. That one took a little bit longer. Still got the win. It's a huge difference. Galabar versus Bloodstorm. So I don't know that it matters. It's just another option for you is Spider over Akuna. It feels like Spider gives more utility, as where Akuna just has the freeze. So I think I personally might opt for Spider. But pick one of them, Akuna or Spider, whichever one you prefer. Male Akuna, male Spider. And I think we're going to use them. You want to use them as your support mechanism. So we're going to put things like Rapid Shot that applies to the whole team on our support. So move Rapid Shot to male Spider or Akuna if you prefer Akuna. I prefer Spider, so that's what I'm going to put in here. But obviously, if you want to change it back at your account, you can do whatever you want. But I like Spider over Akuna after having play tested. Oops, did it not save it? Why didn't it save it? There we go. So that is kind of what I would do. I would focus on getting my vigor on male Soulkeeper for the executes. Otherwise, feels pretty solid. Move the traits around. So things like Rapid Shot. Now there's a couple that I've heard there's like some confusion going on around about them, and I asked for clarification and I didn't receive much clarification. So I don't exactly know how these play out, but Demoralize is another trait you can put on your support. It says it only lasts for the first 10 seconds. But this is good. Even if, so the confusion I guess right now is some of them are not supposed to have the first 10 seconds and they do. Some of them are supposed to have the first 10 seconds and it's actually not working. So I don't know where all of this settles, but I think this one, even if it lasts for just the first 10 seconds, is good because if you can reduce your opponent's attack speed, you're reducing their energy gain, and then so when that Bulko effect wears off, you might be able to ult when they can't anyway. So Demoralize I'd probably put on our support. So put on male Spider. Rapid Shot put on male Spider. Couple of other ones are like Hulking is your typical team, another team trait, but this again is for the first 10 seconds. Oh no, okay, so for the first 10 seconds increases by 5%. After that it increases by 2.5%. So we definitely want to run Hulking. Put Hulking on your support as well. What are the other team ones? I want to say that you can do Sanguine, I believe. Yeah, this is damage as opposed to strength, so not quite as important as the strength, but Sanguine is still another decent one to run there. So you can use them as some of that stuff. Put those team-wide traits on your one support so you can put better attack traits on your attack guys, so on and so forth. Energetic, brutal, loyal, plume dance. I don't know if I really like this. I mean, he is oddly enough the carry in our comp right now. He's out damaging water and sun, so I hesitate to mess with this. But this only lasts for 15 seconds, which is only about a third of what the fights were lasting. And it only helps on crits, and I don't know how often you're getting crits out of him. So this might be replaceable with something else. Put Pure Heart on everybody, especially in spots where you're using a slot for hexproof. I personally think Pure Heart to try and counter that Bulko is better use of your traits. And then the other thing I might recommend, but this is going to kind of have to be a personal preference, but another trait I think personally is slept on is the Parade trait. Reducing attack speed. And it stacks up to 3 layers. So even at this level, you're going to be at 33, 34%. Okay. So I would consider that, but your traits I feel are pretty strong, pretty solid. Just a few tweaks. Move Rapid Shot onto your support, either Spider or Akuna. Let's get Hulking in the mix. Okay, let's get Demoralize in the mix. And if you want, you can do like a Sanguine or something like that. But I would probably just do Rapid Shot, Demoralize, Hulking, and then probably like Brutal and Energetic. Otherwise, everything looks good. Like I said, clean us up. I would probably go Fierce and why am I drawing a blank? Fierce and Pure Heart. Focused is the trait that I asked for clarification on. I don't know if Focused is useless now because it's only supposed to last 10 seconds, or if that is currently a mistake. So I don't have the clarity on that. So that's why I'm not recommending Focused. Agile is another one, but apparently there's a attack speed cap, and I don't know the math behind that yet with Rapid Shot, but Agile could be something that belongs in your traits if you're not hitting speed cap. I don't right now know the math for that. So everybody else, hope you got to see kind of the process I went through to kind of do this. I hope this helps you on your account as well. But we did what we set out to do. I think we made a stronger first team. We swapped out 2 champions. We brought in Galabar because Galabar with Water and Sun, super strong, right? And then we also swapped out Akuna for Male Spider. They're really interchangeable. There's not a ton of difference in the results. I felt better with Spider. I like, especially reading through his skills, I like all of the abilities there. I didn't really see. We might have to get the skills better leveled up. Level up the... You can probably just take the equipment we were using on Akuna. Yeah, just move this to Spider and then level up. You can just reset him or whatever. Take the skill books and put them on Spider. That's what I do. If you want to stick with Akuna, that's fine. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know how your accounts are going. If you're struggling with anything, like, comment, subscribe, and remember to check out the stream as well. Streaming every day here on YouTube. Make sure you click the notification button so you know when those are going live. I'm Belligerent. Peace.